Well, this morning, the hills are alive with the sound of Laura Ingraham, who joins us right now live from our nation's capital.
That's frightening.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. I'm still trying to get over the Lady Gaga performance. It's pretty good, actually.
It was good.
It
was.
But, you know, the great Julie Andrews, that's a tall mountain to climb. You can't climb every mountain if you're trying to, in any way, emulate her. She's the best.
If you wore a meat dress, that should disqualify you.
Oh, yeah,
Just
good point. That would have been good to mix that up last night. I wonder, but wasn't it odd, though? You have to go back 50 years to have a movie that really brought everyone together. My kids watch it. I know your kids watch it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. That was 50 years ago, and most of the movies that won the Oscars, they were kind of art house films. Not a lot of people saw them. Birdman made, I think, $37 million at the box office. So it's a different era in Hollywood filmmaking. And a lot of talent, but a lot of small films.
So from your favorite movies of all time to probably one of your least favorite moves is what I'm anticipating here. We want to play some sound for you. As the clock is ticking to funding Department of Homeland Security, President Obama and Jay Johnson are warning that a shutdown could put us all at a security risk. Listen to this.
Scared tactics.
Unless Congress acts, 1 week from now, more than 100,000 DHS employees, Border Patrol, port inspectors, TSA agents will show up to work without getting paid. Now, they all work in your states. These are folks who, if they don't have a paycheck, are not going to be able to spend that money in your states. It will have a direct impact on your economy, and it will have a direct impact on America's national security.
Overall, a shutdown of Homeland Security would have serious consequences and amount to a serious disruption in our ability to protect the homeland.
It's the Chicken Little thing. You know, the sky is falling, people won't get paid, you won't be secure, and yet the intel people say there are no credible threats. It looks like politics, it looks like scare tactics.
Well, this is so predictable, it's boring. Okay, we knew this was going to happen in December. When I was on Fox and Friends in December, I said that if the GOP did not set the narrative on what was going to happen on this debate, they would ultimately cave.
You were right.
And cave into pressure, and they would, we can't endanger the country. Now, think about this, guys. For the last 6 years, the administration has taken an on-again, off-again approach, mostly off-again, to immigration enforcement. They've pulled back the Border Patrol to within, I think, we learned yesterday on my radio show, sometimes 40 miles from the border, a lot of the agents are. We're basically doing no interior enforcement except maybe of some violent criminals. And now they're talking to us about how the nation is going to be endangered, which is itself a fraud, because we know most people have to show up at work. This is all a lie. And if we had Republicans who actually disagreed with Obama on amnesty, we only have a handful, like Jeff Sessions and Ted Cruz. If we had more Republicans who were honest about this, they would be saying what I'm saying today. We don't believe you, Mr. President. This is scare tactics. You're the reason this department won't be funded. Own it. But too many Republicans are shackled by the Chamber of Commerce and their big business interests, and so they want to go like this and say, well, look, we have to put the nation first. It's appalling.
Laura, but when it comes to the executive order, there was even up to 9, maybe even more Democrats who said, we don't think this is right, because the president said it 22 times. One of those people who is not voting with Republicans to deny Homeland Security funding because of the executive order is Senator Joe Manchin. Listen to what he told us a short time ago.
The president said many, many times, you know, that he would never do something as far as that far on immigration, as far as what executive orders, and then he went and did the executive orders. I said to my Republican friends, give us a vote on a clean Homeland Security bill. I will support the actions as basically on a bill that would prevent the president from his executive actions. I would support and vote with him on that, but we need to have a clean vote on the Homeland Security bill.
And it sounds like that's going to happen. Mitch McConnell's coming up with Plan B, because there have been a bunch of filibusters already. Now there's going to be a clean bill.
I know all of us look really young, wink, wink, but we weren't born yesterday. Okay, that's a nice little move from Mitch McConnell, who's a smart guy. He kind of knows the legislative maneuvering. But we, the people, are onto this. We knew this was going to happen months ago. They're doing exactly what we predicted. They're going to wash their hands of this and say, look, we had a vote. We couldn't defund the president's executive amnesty. We tried. They did not try if they don't give the president a bill that defunds the efforts to put forth an unconstitutional amnesty. This will not work. Manchin knows it's not going to work. McConnell knows it's not going to work. Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Jeff Sessions, a few others like Tom Cotton, they're doing the right thing. Everyone watching Fox and Friends right now, if you disagree with what the president did, if you think it endangers our republic to have an imperial executive who acts in this manner, well, then you have to get involved on the phones because this thing is going south really fast, and I fear for our Constitution.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to shift gears here, but also stay on the topic of danger. The Mall of America today is preparing for the worst, and they have been since yesterday after al-Shabaab, the terror threat, they threw in their face right there saying that they were going to bring some harm. You know, they peeled back the curtain, the mall did, showed the security floor, they're swabbing cars and bags, but now there's a lawmaker there urging that the fact that the Minnesota, they dropped the gun policy because they have a no-carry zone there, and he's saying that Americans should be able to protect themselves in a case like this. This is the Minnesota state lawmaker, Tony Cornish.
Right.
The situation with Mall of America is completely ridiculous. It's just the opposite of what they should be doing. If we're threatened with an attack of any type, the last thing you ever want to do is disarm citizens. If I were a terrorist, the first place that I would look to go to inflict harm or mass casualties would be a place where people were unarmed.
What do you think about that? Arm the shoppers?
I just like the hat. So if he's going to patrol personally, I'm in a... Look, I don't think we should jump every time, you know, the freaks with the ace bandages around their faces put out videos. I mean, the malls have always been soft targets in this country since, you know, before 9/11. We're always worried about security at malls. I do believe these no-gun policies, maybe they were passed with some degree of goodwill, but I've never thought they helped. I mean, how does that help? Someone who's going to commit a crime doesn't care about a no-gun policy. The only one who has to be worried about a no-gun policy is a law-abiding American who is trained and proficient in the use of a firearm to protect oneself or others. So I don't think these gun policies generally work, and so I think if this is a point where we can have a debate about this, great. But these videos, I just think we react so emotionally to these videos. I think we should have a clear-headed debate about how to best secure the homeland without changing our way of life.
Well,
we can't change our entire way of life.
I know Jay Johnson says be extra careful if you're shopping at the Mall of America.
Particularly careful.
You're particularly careful.
I've been to the Mall of America many times. Yeah. I'd only be careful about eating the fast food near the roller coaster.
The roller coaster is a little scary.
Yeah.
Brian and I have actually been on that roller coaster.
Yes.
It goes fast. For indoors,
that'll make
it goes
you
fast.
sick real quick. Yeah, that's dangerous.
It was our own free time if Human Resources is watching.
No. The whole crew was there. We took a camera crew. Remember?
Oh, I remember that. You guys get all the fun trips.
We just do.
The RNC brought us there.
Oh, lovely. At least they're
we were there for the convention.
That's
right. The Republicans did not pay for our trip. We paid for our trip.
Well, that's what brought us there, though, because
we were there to cover the convention.
That's the way we did.
Instead, you were just having some fun.
All right.
And don't you guys, the ISIS, the Shabab, if these guys are such tough guys, why don't they take the ace bandages off their faces? I mean, it looks like the return of the mummy every time we see one of these videos. I mean, aren't we all sick of, we're sick of them. Yeah. We're sick of their stupid tactics. They're evil. We need Muslims to come forward and take back their faith from these terrorist evil thugs. This needs to be exposed. They need to be satirized and ridiculed, and then we need to kill every last one of them.
All right. Laura Ingram's going to go do her radio show.
No. You just blew your State Department spokesperson gig.
She's going to go do her radio show all across this great land.
That's
Laura
right.
Ingraham, thank you very much.
Great to see you guys.